Welcome back, everybody. It's a great day today, December 6th, 2016. Your host is back again. Technical difficulties, commercials, ads, just couldn't line up the right money. However, we're back this week with another one of our colleagues, Mr. Andrew Price. Welcome back to the program.
It's good to be back. Glad we got our technical difficulties, our budget, corrected, get the sponsorships where lined up where they should be. We're back. I know we've been missed by the league and our thousands of millions of subscribers, so apologize for the not being on as much as we should be, but we're back now and we'll try and make up for it.
Yes, it is tough times when it comes to that. Sometimes you have to, cost-cutting measures happen that way, and we had to stretch out podcasts to address that. However, we're back in action here, and
we stared down the barrel of the SEC. They came at us. We had a staring contest. We didn't blink. We won. We're back. We didn't budge. We didn't sacrifice anything. The integrity of the cast. So we're back and better than ever.
That's right. All right. And like we always do, we want to give a quick shout out to some of our sponsors. Okay, let's just move straight into what happened last week then, all right? Isn't that kind of why we're here? All righty.
Yeah.
It was the last week of the season, week 13. Some people had a must win. Some others were way out of it and didn't control their own destiny. They just let it go week 2. However, myself, it's time for me to fly. It's kind of playing off what happened last year with Let's Fly Together and with the Mighty Ducks. Had a win over the Commissioner. I'm sorry. We only call him by the Commissioner here on this program. By a score of 107-91. Just the top dogs came out and played for me. It's great having TY on Monday, not even need him to play because I already had the game wrapped up and Kyle didn't have anybody. But all the big guys, all the big guns came out and performed well for me. Kyle, disappointing in your team, but, it's a valiant effort on your part. Andrew, thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, so, Kyle, he was in a win-in-you're-in situation. Wait, no, he wasn't. Yeah, he was a win-in-you're-in because, well, the other guy is the other guy. He didn't win, but we'll get to the other guy's game later. Kyle, Manny, Sandy didn't really do it for you. 2 points there, not going to get it done. But yeah, you didn't have a bad week. Just ran into a better player, played better, and that's about it.
Yep. Fortunately, hopefully, you still make the playoffs with all this, with this loss at the end of the season. Well, we'll discuss that later. We'll see if you actually did or not. But good win by myself. Let's just go straight back down to the bottom here. While we're here, Andrew, you had a huge dominating victory. However, dominating, but he still put up a decent number in points wise. But dominating, nonetheless, victory over Robert. Just couldn't put it all together this season. What are your thoughts on your matchup?
Yeah, I said it in the group me. I'll say it again. The opponents, I'm leaving body bags left and right. I'm making the Trail of Tears look like a ticker tape parade. It's just I feel bad for everyone. Actually, I don't. I love what I'm doing to everyone I'm playing. Didn't even play my best lineup this week. Could have got Andy Dalton in there to get me over the 140 mark, but didn't really need it. Conservative little Brandon Marshall, Vernon Davis really let me down there. Need to have. Well, they probably won't be playing moving forward, but I like them to play well on my bench just to really dominate opponents, make them really feel my presence. Best team all year, best team on paper. I'm right where I should be, number 1 seed in the playoffs. Probably still don't really know where we're going with that. Just going to have to talk to the commission about what's going to go on. And then for Robert, just sort of a microcosm of the season. You had a lot of points this year, but just weren't able to win when you needed to. This didn't really mean anything to you, but did wrap up the season for you, just how you started and just how the middle was.
Yeah, all the hype coming off the draft, coming out of, going into the first week was all on Robert to perform and be the best team in the league. But just couldn't put it together week by week, and that's kind of how you got to do it. You got to, win certain weeks when you're bad and win the good weeks when you're good. And this is one of those weeks when he probably should have won, Andrew, but he just ran into you, who was just better. Or the weeks when the other opponent's not playing well, but he just played worse. And that's kind of the way Robert's season went all year long. But it's good effort, though. Good effort. Maybe next year you can make the playoffs. Hopefully not. Moving on. Let's do that game last. We'll go to Mr. The Other Guy versus your ad here. Terrible name, Mike, all year around. But Andrew, I mean, I don't even know how to explain this game. Would you like to, give me something on how the other guy lost this matchup?
Yeah, I'd like to go on record and say this is the worst loss in our league's history, and I don't think that's understating it. All the other guy had to do was beat Mike, and with all due respect to Mike, with also no due respect, you've been a horrible team, especially the second half of the year, like absolutely horrible. And all you had to do, Joe, was beat Mike, and you're in the playoffs, and you score 65 points. My top 3 players, I could have started 3 players this week and beat you, 70 to 65. That's a fact. And what also is a fact is that you got a 0 up there, you got a -4, you got a 4. It's really an embarrassment. Hard to show your face around here. Again, I hope you don't come back strong, but you're going to need to save some face. Absolutely embarrassing. Embarrassing way to go down in flames, really.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, Mike just didn't even make trades, didn't even make acquisitions. He held on to players that were on the IR all year. I mean, it's Mike, you haven't shown me much. And then Joe, you're playing a guy that hasn't shown much and you lose. I mean, damn, you both had guys with 0.
Joe wins the game no matter what happens. He's in the playoffs, and he loses to Mike.
Right. I mean, Mike had 2 guys that scored 0 points. That's hard to do. That's just sending out people on buys at that point. Like, come on now. I don't know. Joe, you don't deserve to make the playoffs with not beating Mike of all teams.
Embarrassing. Just embarrassing.
We had the dark horse. That's right, the dark horse. Had a victorious effort versus Daryl Hazel himself. Basically, that's what Daryl Hazel's record is: year in, year out, 2-11. I don't know. Gibson's team had a lot of potential, had a lot of good names, a lot of big prospects. Just couldn't put it all together. Andrew, thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, Gibson's team was just the worst all year. We just body bagged Mike. Gibson deserves a little body bag himself. Every week seemed to underperform. He does have some big names on there, like you said. Just, Gronk being hurt all year pretty much. Alshon getting suspended. Landry not really having a great year. This all sort of snowballed for him. Larry Fitz was probably his most consistent player, but really just a tough season for Matt. And the guy who should not be named, he needed to get some help this week and win. And he got the help from an unlikely source of Mike. And so the guy who should not be named, maybe we'll just call him Voldemort to make it quicker. Voldemort goes ahead and makes the playoffs. I think when things are restructured, he'll be playing you, I believe, in the first round if they're restructured the way we think they will be. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a nice 2C reunion for you guys to battle it out.
Yeah, I might butcher the name Voldemort. I don't even know, but it's a good name. I like that better than the guy who shall not be named. But yeah, like you said, Eric needed, or Voldemort needed. He needed help. And of all people, Mike gave it to him. I mean, this is pretty much a W going against Gibson, but good win, Voldemort. You deserved it. And I'll see you in the first round of the playoffs. Last game, this really hasn't been addressed, I guess, since his exit out of the league. However, it says Kyle, or our commissioner, is in control of this team, the King in the North division. On the left, played Bob. Bob lost, but Andrew, I don't know how to address this. Do you know how to address this team or the owner, or how do we address this?
Yeah, I think we should start by, giving Bob some credit. He got a lot of flack on trades this year that he made, but he took his team and he won the last 4 games of the year, almost 5th one here. If he would have won this, he would have ended on a 5-game win streak. But finishes the year 4-1, something that hopefully doesn't carry the momentum into next year. Like you, I don't want anyone to do good, but could carry some momentum into next year. But then again, addressing he who should not be named 2, Voldemort 2. Don't really know what else needs to be said. I know we should have had a press conference after he went all postal crybaby. I'm soft. Feel sorry for myself. I'm gonna go sit in the corner, pout and cry and whine and bitch and moan. But yeah, I mean, nothing really needs to be said about his team because they're irrelevant now. He's forfeited all of his wins, all of his points, all of his everything. I know Kyle had to take control of his team because he was such a baby and he cared. It wasn't he acted like he didn't care, but he cared so much that every time Kyle put players back on his team, he would go and drop them like a little baby and pout and try and take his ball and go home. And if he can't play, or if he doesn't want to play anymore, then nobody can. Really, just a disgraceful human being, and I'm glad he's out of the league.
Yeah, that was the part that really bugged me the most, with the dropping of the players and not sending his lineup. And every time Kyle had to do it, he had to go back and fix it. There's just a better way of going about it. If you didn't want that trade to be pushed through, it's not like he wasn't going to make the playoffs after that trade got pushed through. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know why he was complaining. Like, you know what I mean? Did that make that?
If he didn't want it, should we push it through or not? He didn't say anything, and then it happened to go through. I didn't even know what happened to it, but it was funny when he went postal and post trade. But it's like it didn't even matter at that point. Like you said, I don't understand.
Well, I asked him, like, did you ask Kyle? How did you this go about? I mean, he said, no, I didn't ask him. I'm like, did Joe ask him? Because that's who the trade was between. And Joe texted me and he said, yeah, I asked Kyle to push it through. And Kyle did. And that's kind of how all the trades have been going this season, is if you ask Kyle, he's probably going to push it through. So I don't know, that the history was there for the trade to get pushed through. It's just he was mad that I don't know why he got pissed off in the fact that he was going to make the playoffs regardless of what happened that week, if he was going to lose or win. So that kind of irked me when it came to that. But there's nothing we can do about it now. I mean, it's just a terrible way to go about it. There could have been so many different ways you could have addressed it, just not the way I would have addressed it. You know what I mean? So
I think we have to consider, like, all theories here need to be thrown out. And Hutch maybe saw a chance to actually be something in this league, and he got scared when he saw the bright lights, and he just wanted to cower before he could fail himself. It's like if he quit, he didn't really lose in his head. Like, oh, I quit, but I was the best team, and now I'm done. A, you weren't, because I had more points than you, even at that point. And B, I think that you're soft, and it's like he may have saw a chance to be something great. And some people, when they see that opportunity, they turtle up and they go into their shell and they can't handle it, and they walk away before they have the chance to really, really fail on a large scale. And I think that's what could have happened here.
Very good point. I mean, he was nervous of being on top with the best record. Not the most points, but having the best record. I mean, I've been there before. I love being in that position. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll take that. I'll take your team, Hutch. I'll take all your wins and all your points, but it's not for everybody, like you said. But I guess going back to the point, he's kind of still upset of the fact of the power that Kyle has. Is what he kind of texted me and wanted to be brought out. He didn't agree with the fact that Kyle can just push through trades when he wants, when he pleases, and he didn't ask Hutch, which I kind of agree and kind of don't. I mean, Kyle was voted being the commissioner. He was voted all these rights and all these abilities, but also I think from his perspective, Kyle should have asked Hutch if he wanted it pushed through, even though Joe asked for it to be pushed through. So there's just miscommunication on that end. So I see it from both sides. Hey, you could have voted for me being commissioner.
Yeah, but at the same time, Kyle has that power, and no one said anything about it except Hutch.
Right.
The one time he did things the same way, and all he had to do was say he didn't want it pushed through until X before it got pushed through. That's on him.
Right, and I'm pretty sure. Right. I of all people, I mean, dude, you got to get in line if you want to be the most hated in the league. Because I guess he tipped me as the most hated. But
he's not in the league anymore. So he was the most hated in the league until he got kicked out. So for like 20 minutes, he was the most hated in the league. But now you're back to your rightful position as most hated.
That's right.
But yeah, it's like I said, every team it has your LeBron and it has your Dellavedova, and I think that Hutch could have had a chance, he saw, oh, wait, can I step into these shoes? And he's like, you know what? I'm going to just be an Australian that's going to be feisty, and I'm going to be hated because I am now, but I'm comfortable here. There's no pressure on me. I don't have to deal with any expectations, and I don't respect it, but I understand it. And that's where we're at with things.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate circumstance that happened that should have been addressed between Kyle and Hutch itself, but for some reason, neither of them were texting each other back. It was kind of weird. I don't know what the issue was between them. So I guess playoff preview, we didn't really want to give you guys this until our commissioner actually set it to the way it was. I'll just show you what it looks like now. This isn't what it's going to be. Hold up.
Well, maybe Kyle actually has the end-all be-all say. There would be a mutiny in the league if he left it like this, but I wouldn't say for sure this is what it's not going to look like.
What we're speculating, what it could be. And
on this way, it has me and you playing in the first round, which would be the two best teams left on paper, at least.
Right. However, what we speculate was you are going to be the number 1 seed. I will move to the 2 seed. Eric will move to the 3 seed, and then Kyle will move to the 4 seed. And it's kind of hard to do the previews with that not being set yet. We look forward to that being set either tonight or tomorrow sometime, and then we can get a more accurate podcast playoff preview outlook after that is set. However, I have no more emails, tweets, or questions in our mailbox today. Andrew, would you like to?
Yeah, I saw. I love the Bovada and Oddshark you have as saved tabs, just ready to go to at any point when you pull up your computer. I just noticed that. But yeah, you never know what Kyle's going to do, because I wouldn't blame him if he just wanted to stay on the consolation bracket, because staring me down for 2 weeks could spell humiliation and trouble, because he's seen what I've done the second half of the year. I think I've only lost 1 game. But yeah, I understand him wanting to stay on the consolation. If you want to give me a bye, Kyle, I will accept a bye in the first round if you don't want to take it. Just to put a bow on the season, I think that it's clear that I was the best player in the league for the entirety of the year. Most points, no one was within 100 of me. We discussed that in the group me also. I just wanted to say it again, because that's the kind of reputation and big swinging club that I have, ready to knock people's heads off right now. And I've been doing it, and I feel bad. Actually, I don't feel bad, but my PR guy told me I should feel bad about these people that I'm just humiliating and destroying. But I'm going to keep it candid for you guys. I don't. Best player in the league, most feared team in the league, scoring the most points, and I'm peaking at a great time. I almost said it again. My PR guy does a great job of telling me the buzzwords like I feel bad. But I don't, and it's going to be a fun playoffs. And Kyle did a great job to this point. We don't know what he's going to do with this playoff decision yet. We have a good idea. Like you said, you think it's going to line up the way it did, or the way you explained. The league, I'll have a decision to make whether I want to be commissioner, whether I cut it down to an 8-team league, whether I hand it over to Kyle, who did such a great job. If he continues that great job, I don't want to jinx it. He could, really mess up this playoffs and destroy the league. So yeah, I'll have some tough decisions to make when I win the league, because I think that, everyone knows I'm going to. So it should be a lot of responsibility on me, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Big thing going forward when it comes to playoffs. I'm the only returning player to the playoffs from last year, so experience is there. However, I have a young team, a lot of raw talent. However, I've been the beneficiary this year of a lot of close games, low-scoring games, which those are tough wins. You got to fight those out. With an inexperienced ball club, we've learned a lot through the season. Looking forward to it. Cannot get off to a bad week 1 start when it comes to these 2 weeks for the playoffs per round. Need to win the first week by 20+. That way you have an easy week 2. And that's what I'm looking forward to going forward. However, nothing else coming from me, Andrew. Any closing thought, not on top of what your last closing thought was?
Yeah, so sort of on top of what my last closing thought was. You said you got to go up by 25. You can't really go down in the first week. To me, I might even spot somebody a 30-point lead in the first week just so I can, build that momentum, win week 2 by 50 plus, head into the championship rolling, and then not hold anything back and really probably play you and try and keep that momentum piling on. I think you're the league's only hope to take me down. So there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, should be a fun match, and I can't wait for this week to start already. And hopefully, all your guys' players get injured, and none of mine get injured. And
It never gets old.